3, 2, 1, 0.
Folks, it's Monday, it's 7 o'clock, which means it's time for Monday Night Nerd. For the last time in 2024, the year-end review. Is it the last time? We're going to talk about maybe one more episode. I think we got one more under our belts before we go. But this is the year-end. This is talking about everything that's happened throughout the year and a whole lot more. Thank you guys for joining. If this is your first time joining, welcome. My name's Corp Cosplay. I'm a cosplayer in the Ontario area, and this is my podcast. We talk about nerdy stuff. We talk about a whole bunch of nerdy stuff, including wrestling, cosplay, music, movies, comics, video games, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And tonight, we're talking about the year in review, what I've been up to for the past 365 days. It's been a great 2024. We're going to talk about the guests that have been on this podcast. We're going to talk about the cons I've been to and who I was meeting, what I was cosplaying as, what my big cosplays for were the year, and we're going to talk about what the future of the podcast is and a whole lot more. Crystal, hope you're doing well. Thank you. Best podcast around, Crystal. I'll send you the $5, okay? I sent you the $5 for that compliment. I greatly appreciate it. I know we had a deal. Marcy, hello, Mike. David, good to see you as well. Let's jump into the news, folks. As I said, this is the year in review. I'm so happy that we've done 365 days of this. We're on episode 83 of the podcast. We're closing in on 100. And this week, I was able to play a little bit more of a game that I've been talking about for the past little while, and that is Rivals. I have been playing Marvel Rivals for the last little while, and it has been so fun. I am not a multiplayer fan, but this game is different. This game is a whole lot of fun, and today they released a new trailer for some things that are coming up, and that is new winter skins for your Marvel Rivals characters, and that includes a new Jeff skin, a new Groot Christmas skin, a new Venom skin, and a new Rocket skin, and a new Magic skin as well. They are killing it on Marvel Rivals, and as I said at the beginning, this is the year-end review, folks, but this is not the last episode of the year. But we're also not doing Monday. This Wednesday, we're having a special Wednesday Night Nerd. Myself and the Freakish Workshop are going to be LIVE live, and we are going to be going through all of the Marvel Rivals skins. 7 o'clock, just like the podcast, but we are going to be on Wednesday. I wanted to do this earlier in the week, but schedules just couldn't work, so we're going to do a Wednesday show. I don't want to push it till Monday because then we're going to be getting into Christmas holidays and all that. So Freakish Workshop is going to be LIVE live on the podcast, and we're going to be talking all about the rival skins. We are going to be going through the regular skins. We're going to be going through the alternate skins and a lot more. Yep, we're going to be right here, Crystal, on Wednesday. We're going to have a whole lot of fun. This is something that I think we've done this before. We talked about our favorite Batman costumes in a previous episode, and when I mentioned to Freakish Workshop that there is some really cool looking outfits and character designs, he jumped on and said, you know what, I think we should do an episode, and I said, I couldn't agree more. So next week, he and I will be LIVE live here talking about all about the rival skins, because we got some new ones. Everybody's got at least 3 skins. We got about 20 characters. We're going to have a whole lot of fun. It's just going to be that. There's going to be no news or anything because we're going to have to shoot through those character skins very, very quickly. Also, news this week, Creature Commandos. Folks, if you don't have Max or you don't have access for Max, steal it. Hurt someone. Get the Max. Get that Max subscription because you need to see Creature Commandos if you're a DC fan. Folks, it is such a good show. Don't actually hurt someone, by the way. It is such a good show. I am so happy with how much I'm enjoying Creature Commandos. This episode pulled on your heartstrings so much for a character that I did not expect to love as much as I did. I'm not going to spoil what happened because it's only been out for a few days, but man, it is such a heartstring episode, and I'm so glad I got to watch it. We're only 3 episodes in. We got 4 more to go, and man, I am hooked. If you have not seen Creature Commandos, or you are like, what is this thing that Mike is talking about? Creature Commandos is a new animated series on Max from the world of DC, written by James Gunn, and it is basically Suicide Squad, but if they were monsters. And there is Weasel from Suicide Squad. Rick Flag's dad is in it. Frankenstein, The Bride, G.I. Robot, Weasel, a whole bunch of other characters. You need to check it out. It is a great series. Again, they're only 3 episodes in, but man, that last one is a heartstring puller, and you will love it. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I did, but boy, did I enjoy it. So we've got that now, and I've also got a buddy who told me that I need to start watching. The Penguin show because I heard that is incredible as well. So don't. There'll probably be a Penguin trailer or reaction of some sort in the next little while. So give me 1 second here. I just got to pull up one last thing because it was a last-minute addition. Folks, have you seen this? This dropped today. New Superman poster from the world of James Gunn. I'm sorry about the watching it on whatever that was. They put a motion one on Twitter, and I could not get a regular one. But look at this. This is our new Superman coming out on July 11th. Man, I love the last couple, but this looks so good. This costume looks good. This is such an homage to the Christopher Reeves look, and I am so happy with it. I think it looks so good. And again, the way that James Gunn has been going for the past couple of things with Penguin, and now Creature Commandos, and now this, I don't know. James Gunn is kind of knocking it out of the park, in my opinion. I haven't seen him fault yet, so I'm excited about this. This was a nice little drop earlier in the day. So we got Superman coming along, we got Creature Commandos still going, and a whole lot more from the DC world, including Green Lantern stuff, which I'm super happy about. So that is kind of it for the news. It was a pretty light news week because, well, nothing really happened, and also I had some in-laws in town, which was great to have them in for the week, but that also means I didn't watch a lot of stuff, I didn't play a lot of stuff, I was too busy doing stuff with them, so kind of a slow news week, but it was great to see them. Let's jump into the sponsor of today's show. Oh, by the way, guys, if you're still here, I greatly appreciate it. If you can hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, all those things, it means a lot to me. It shows me that you guys are watching. It shows that you guys like this show, and that means a ton to me. Sponsor of the podcast, as always, is my beautiful, lovely, amazing, talented wife. She is always going to be the sponsor because I could not do this without her. She is so important in my life. I am a different person. I'm a better person because of her, and she will always be my sponsor for 83 episodes. She is always my sponsor, and I love you. Hun, you can see your Christmas gifts right behind me. She knows what they are. Don't worry, but they're in full display right behind me. Hun, I love you. It means a ton to me. I can't wait to give you your Christmas present. You're going to be so happy, even though you know what that is. There's other stuff that I think you're going to enjoy. Has anyone watched Skeleton Crew? I need to watch it. I need to watch it too. It is something that I'm not a giant Star Wars fan. First of all, I like my Star Wars. I like my Star Wars movies. TV, you're pushed in a little too much for me. It's just too much for me to handle. But I have heard nothing but great things about Skeleton Crew, so I might have to watch Skeleton Crew. Thankfully, I have Disney Plus. I can watch it. But yeah, I've heard great things about it. I need to watch it as well. Unfortunately, I have other things I want to watch, so they kind of beat all that. So let's jump into the main event, folks. I don't think this is going to be a super long episode, but I feel like I should do a year-end review and kind of talk about everybody that's been on the show and everything that has been going on over the year, because it has been a heck of a year. Let's start things off with the guest of the show. We kicked things off early in the year with the Geeks Co folks. The Geeks and Co folks have been on the show a couple times, and I can tell you right now, I've already been in talks with them. They're going to be on again in January. We already have an episode planned that I think you guys are going to love. This was one I was thinking of just pitching to them and saying they should do it on their own, but I said, screw it, you're doing it on my show, because I think it's a really fun topic. So the Geeks and Co guys will be back in 2025. I love those guys. All three of them are just an absolute hoot when I get to hang out with them. When I met them in 2019, 2020, no, it was after the pandemic, 2021, I think. I don't think I've met more open, more giving a crap group of guys in the cosplay community than them. And that's including all of their back-end team as well. They were so nice and so wanting to bring me in when they really didn't have to. And I know I've said it a couple times in the past, but I really do want to emphasize it. Like, when I talk about people that should be waving the flag of cosplay in the Ontario area, those guys and girls are number one. Because I'm telling you, I'm just a small town bird lawyer, as they say. I'm just a guy in Hamilton, Ontario, and that's all I do. I'm just in Hamilton, Ontario doing this, and it was because of them, meeting them at Fan Expo, going in and having JS and Jeff kind of say, you're pretty cool, you're a great guy, we should have you on the show. And I was on the show, and it was a blast, and it made me want to do this. So this 83 episodes in would not happen without the Geeks & Co group. So I really want to give them their flowers, because they really do deserve it, and I can't wait to have them back. I know those episodes are going to run long, and I know Jeff always has to work in the morning, so I feel bad keeping them up. But man, I don't want those episodes to end. I just want to keep yakking all night long with them. So they will definitely be back. Next, we're going to talk about a great cosplayer who he is such a good guy. Again, this was someone I met through the Geeks & Co folk, and I knew of him. I ran into him a couple times, but if it wasn't for, I think, one of the episodes that we were on together, I wouldn't have realized how cool of a guy this is. And he will be on in a couple days with me, and that is the Freakish Workshop. We have become good buds when it comes to cosplay. We've been yakking every now and then about what we're building, giving each other advice. We've been doing live streams, and he's been on the show before, and I love having him on. Especially when I knew I was going away on vacation earlier in the year. There was a time when I knew I had to shoot 2 episodes to get done before I left, because I didn't want to leave you guys without any Monday Night Nerd, because you guys would just be bored out of your minds on a Monday night without this. So I didn't want to do just 2 episodes not live. I felt that would be kind of boring. I felt like people would maybe tune in, not really. So I said, let's do one with a guest that we could have a really fun conversation, and that was the one with the Freakish Workshop, where we talked about our favorite Batman costumes, and it was so fun, because we both had some pretty different outlooks on some of these costumes, and I love yakking with him about comic stuff, and he, again, will be back here 2 days from now, 7 o'clock, and we're going to be talking all about Marvel Rivals, because he has not played Marvel Rivals, but he does think the artwork's pretty cool, so we're going to be jumping into the deep end with that. And seriously, such a good cosplayer. I can't wait to see what his new builds look like, because he didn't get to go to Fan Expo this year because he was making some life choices and some really big ones, and I'm glad he got to do that. But I did miss him being at Expo, but he will be there this year. And someone who was at Fan Expo this year and helped me so much, and she is in chat right now, that is Pretty Nerdy Crystal. When I was in such a pinch that I could not get into my Judge Dredd cosplay, Crystal was there to help me get into the cosplay so I could make it down and get judged and be on stage. And honestly, if it wasn't for her, I would not have been able to get in that cosplay. And it cost her a nail, and I still owe her a nail. Seriously, it was really cool spending the day with Crystal. And I will tell her this now, and I've told this to a few different people. There are very few people that I don't mind hanging around with long at conventions. I am very much a lone wolf when it comes to conventions. I love just, okay, I want to go here and I go. I want to go here and I go. I want to go here and I go. I hate wandering. I hate just not having a plan and just, people take forever at booths. Crystal, on the other hand, really cool to hang out with, and I'm so glad I got to spend the day with her, especially Saturday of Fan Expo. It was a lot of fun hanging with her, yakking about cosplay, introducing me to a bunch of people she has some really incredible friends in the cosplay community, and there's a few that I met that I'm just like, can we sit down and just let me pick your brain on how the hell you built these things? And that's some of the stuff I say to Crystal too, because there are some builds that she does that, oh, stop crying. There are some things that she does with that Joker cosplay and the way that she built that. I'm just like, there's no way I could figure out how to do that. But she is incredible. She's a former guest of Fan Expo. I hope she is back again very, very soon. So, Crystal, you deserve some flowers as well for being on the podcast as well, because you jumped on. And unfortunately, it was probably one of the worst episodes on my end, simply because my tech was horrible. But we might just have to do that one again. We just might have to do another episode in the near future talking about cosplay, and maybe we'll talk all about Fallout. You can convince me why Fallout is such a good game, because I don't understand why. Sorry, it's just not my thing. I know it's yours though, and I'm glad you enjoy it. As I say to my wife with certain things, I'm glad it exists. I don't need to own it. I'm just glad it exists. So yeah, that was kind of the guests for this year. We do have the Geeks Co coming up again. We will have Freakish Workshop again in a couple days. We'll definitely have Pretty Crystal back. We're gonna have some more cosplayers in this year. I definitely want to get Reed Props Plus to come by. There's a couple other, I don't want to say fake. Wow, I choked there for a second. I've never done that on the show. 81. Hang on. I'm choking to death. Watch me die slowly. Live TV, folks. There are some other people that I will be trying my best to get on the podcast, because I think they will be a lot of fun to just talk about life and their experiences and a whole lot more. So if you guys are interested in seeing some more guests, we are definitely going to have some more guests in 2025, because we're 83 episodes, 84 episodes. This is insane. We're going to be at 100 in no time. I can't believe that. So that's for the guests. When it comes to episodes, I think we had a lot of great episodes this year. I don't think that I'm obviously noticing that the convention reviews get a lot of good views, which I'm super happy about, because I've got a bunch of cons coming up in 2025. I don't know if we're going to do many personal episodes like we did back in 2023 and 2024. There was definitely a few that I kind of wanted to just talk about my own life and such. Not that I don't think you guys care, but I think I'll just sprinkle it in every now and then, but maybe not a full episode, because I feel like you guys care about a little more pop culture stuff, and that's fine. I don't feel offended by it. I totally understand. David, when are you going to come to Montreal Comic-Con? When am I going to come to Montreal Comic-Con? You know what? I've been asked to come to Montreal Comic-Con a couple times. Not just by you. It is on my list. It is definitely on my list. It will not be this year. This year I am at 13 cons right now. That is my total as of right now. I will put it on my list for 2026. I know some people who are volunteering at it. That is probably the way that I'm going to go. When it comes to traveling outside of the GTA area, it's going to be yes, Alex. What is one more? What is one more? I want to remind you who my wife is, who you have met. I like her. I'd like to keep her in my life. I will definitely come out to Montreal at some point. I know some volunteers do heading out there, so I might go out there just to volunteer for a day or two. I've never been to Montreal, and I think maybe if I can convince my wife that we could go out there, give me a day at the con, and then we can kind of just enjoy our time. We'll maybe that'll be a thing. She would love a trip to Montreal. I think she's been to Montreal. I don't think that's a new place for her. I don't remember if she liked it or not. I'll have to ask her when she gets home. Anyways, so because we're doing 13 cons this year, we're going to talk about a bunch of them today. Just kind of going over them. Let me see how many we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. Let's start out with Toronto Comic Con. That was the first big one of the year. I love Toronto Comic Con. It is one that I've got some history with in a negative way. I did some volunteering back when I first started at Toronto Comic Con, and I gotta admit it was horrible. And I will admit it was horrible because of my own bias or my own my own choices. I don't know what to call it. I assumed I was going to get put in a position that I'm usually at other cons. The thing, though, that I didn't realize was that Toronto Comic Con and Fan Expo are their own little beasts. They have their own people, and they have their own, their own politics, let's call it. And I figured because I had volunteered at Niagara and Hamilton, I would just get bumped up to the same status at Hamilton. And this was before I knew all my friends that worked that con. And I didn't. I was stuck on the elevator, pointing down the elevator going, the con's that way. And I got to admit, for about an hour, I was bored to tears. And I ended up leaving the position, and I got my money, and I went home because I was not happy with it. And I've never volunteered since. However, because of Informa taking over Fan Expo, Informa is the parent company of Fan Expo, the new thing is that if you get a premium pass, or now known as the Ultimate Pass for Fan Expo Canada, you get a free day admission for Toronto Comic Con. So I have been using that every year to get a free day at Toronto Comic Con. And this year was my third year going, and it was a lot of fun. It was the year that I debuted my Weird Al Yankovic white and nerdy cosplay, which I love wearing, and I sadly will not probably be wearing it too many more times. I might do a photo shoot with it, and that's about it. But I do love that cosplay because it is such a fun... if the people who get it, and that's perfectly fine that 95% of people don't get the cosplay. But it was fun. I got a lot of good reactions from people going, oh, that's so funny. Running into the Geeks Co guys, they got a good laugh out of it. I think they need to expand Toronto Comic Con a little bit. I know they only have it in the North Building right now, or the South Building. North Building? North Building. But it's getting really big, so I think they need to figure out an alternate spacing or using the other building or something, because it's just getting so big. And I think they need to figure out something, because it was getting pretty hectic last year. But nonetheless, it is a fun con to go to, and it is a great precursor for what Fan Expo is. If you've never been to Fan Expo, go to Toronto Comic Con first, and if you enjoy that, then get a Fan Expo ticket, because you don't do Fan Expo on its own because if you've never done a con, because it is a crazy weekend. After that, we did Anime North, which is now becoming one of my favorite top 2-3 cons of the year. I love Anime North. I volunteered Anime North with the Audio Video Club. They run my wife's friends and we run the audio video for the main stage, we run the video for the side stages and all the little rooms in the con. And I jumped in with them about 5 years ago, and I'm not an anime fan. I didn't watch anime growing up. I watched a little bit of not Dragon Ball. I watched a little bit of Sailor Moon. I watched Pokemon, stuff like that, but I've not watched Dragon Ball. I've not watched One Piece or any of that stuff, so I'm not an anime fan at the least. However, the cosplay game at that con is so good. The atmosphere of the con is so good. If you've never been to Anime North in Toronto, basically what it is 2 buildings. There's the main building that has all your vendors, And then they have another building, which is basically the main stage, which you can sort of walk off into the outside world to get to the main stage. A lot of people show up and just hang outside. It's in May, so it's usually pretty good weather, and most people just hang outside and enjoy the weather and enjoy their cosplaying outside. There's a rave at night. There's always stuff going on in the evenings, and it is a really fun atmosphere. It's all non-for-profit, so there is a little bit of grittiness, let's call it. It's not as polished as a fan expo, and I kind of enjoy that. I feel like it's more authentic. It's more what I think Comic-Con should be like. And it's always a blast. I bring out my Dunkmaster Darius cosplay. I brought out my new Dan from Street Fighter cosplay, which I'm going to do a little bit of work on this year to get him upgraded because I love wearing Dan. It's the most comfortable cosplay I own because it's literally just a gi, and I'm not sweating my balls off in a big leather coat with Ghost Rider. But yeah, I loved it. It was such a fun time. I did not perform at the Masquerade this year, and I was kicking myself. This is the first year I did not perform at the Masquerade because I did not have a fully completed by myself cosplay that I felt was worthy enough. I could have gone up with something that was half done or, was a closet cosplay just to walk on stage, but I felt like I didn't want to take someone's spot away by doing that. So I was just on the side stage. I was just doing audio video for the show, and I was kicking myself. So that is why that thing up there, I should just point. You think I know how to do this by now. Red Skull is going to be at Anime North. Yes, I know he's not an anime character. It does not matter at Anime North. All they care about is that it's a cosplay. So I'm going to be bringing Red Skull to Anime North this year. I'm super excited to bring him out because I have such a good presentation planned for this show. This is one of the shows that you have a minute on stage and you're able to perform, bring your own audio and all that. And I've had this idea for years, absolutely years of sitting on this. And I don't do any villains, so I've not been able to do this. Now that I have a villain, I can't wait to do this. I hope it's as funny as I think it is. I told my wife about it, and she laughed at it. So fingers crossed it's good. And if it isn't, I thought it was funny. But yeah, definitely going to be back at Anime North this year. Oh God, you want me to do 1 minute? No, you don't have to, Crystal. Crystal's saying this in chat. You don't. Crystal has never been to Anime North. I'm trying to convince her to go. You don't have to do a minute. You can simply go on stage and pose. You don't have to do 1 minute. It's the maximum. And as someone who loves being on stage, I love being on stage, so I will take every advantage I can to stretch that minute as long as I can. You don't have to do a full minute. You don't have to do 30 seconds if you don't want to. It's just an option. But yeah, Anime North is always a blast, and I can't wait to go back this year. After that, we did the first volunteering position of the year, and that was at Niagara Falls Comic Con. Niagara Falls Comic Con is getting bigger every freaking year. Every year that con is getting bigger. And honestly, I'm just going to quickly pull up the website here because I know they've already made some announcements for 2025, and I'm already like, give me a break. So we've got Warwick Davis is going to be there. Michael Rooker is going to be there. Eric Braden, Victor from Young and the Restless is going to be there. Tommy Chong is going to be there. Danielle Fishel, Ryder Strong, and Will Friedle, all from Boy Meets World, are going to be there. Scott Enos, the voice actor for Scooby-Doo, and a whole bunch of other characters are going to be there. The Winona Earp cast is going to be there. And we're still not even in 2025 yet, and they're already announcing all of these big guests. So 2025 is going to be a huge year for Niagara Falls Comic Con, and it was a great year last year. I got to work with Chris Jericho, the Ayatollah of Rock and Rolla, the Learning Tree, what's his other one? The List, the List, Chris Jericho. It was great meeting him. I had such a fun time meeting him. It was great working his line. My buddy Dave, who's been on the podcast, he got to work with Chevy Chase, which was so fun. I know I'm going to have some people hate me on this. I am a Bruin in hockey. I am an Avalanche. I am not a Leaf. But there is one Leaf legend that I love, and that is Doug Gilmour. And I got to meet Doug Gilmour at the con this year, which was such a cool honor to finally see him. Who else did I meet? I met April O'Neil from the TMNT movie. I was able to meet her, which was such a blast. But yeah, Nickel City, I will obviously be back this year for Nickel City. Niagara Falls Comic-Con, we will be back this year for volunteering again. It is always a fun night, a fun weekend there, and I hope you guys show up because they're starting to push cosplay, by the way. They're really starting to push cosplay. So if you're a cosplayer, you need to start putting Niagara Falls Comic-Con in your list of what you're attending because they are going to start ramping things up, and you guys need to be a part of it. Crystal was one of the judges last year at the Comic-Con convention, cosplay Comic-Con competition. And yeah, she had a lot of fun there, and I think you guys will too. So next year, you guys should be there. After that, we made the trek to the other direction, and we went all the way through Hamilton, and we ended up at Nickel City Comic-Con. Nickel City is a new one for me. I have never been to Nickel City. However, I had to stop by because an old friend was there. If you've watched the new Star Trek series, you may know of an actress named Sarah Middich. She is on the new Star Trek series. Well, not new anymore. Newer. And I know her as a great friend from high school. I went to high school with Sarah, and when we were in the drama class together, and when I say there was one person who was going to leave the school, and as soon as the door shut, she was going to be off enjoying her dreams, that was Sarah. I knew it the second that she got that paper saying she graduated. I knew she was on her way to Toronto, and she was off to enjoy her life and make it as an actress, and she has, and I'm so happy to see it. She's been on Murdoch Mysteries as well, and I finally was able to run into her at a con as a guest, and it was such a fun time meeting her. We got to chat for a few minutes. I got an autograph from her, and hopefully, if we're trying to figure out, timelines and schedules and stuff, she might be able to jump on the podcast. We might be able to do an episode talking about her acting and a whole lot more. I know she is doing a self-help course right now, so we might be able to talk about that and a whole lot more. But it was so cool meeting her. And the venue that Nickel City Comic-Con was at was really cool. So it was basically in like an auditorium, which was fun. So you had the main stage, which they had some curtains there, but they had tables behind it, and that's where the Q&As were. And then on the floor, you had the vendors, you had the celebrity autographs. But then up above, you had all this upper deck seating that was vacant, which was so nice to have a spot to be in the con, but also be away from the crowd. And it was a small con, so it wasn't like Fan Expo, but it was nice just I'm going to grab some food, and I'm just going to sit up in that area. It was so cool being up there. So I think I'm going to try to hit that again this year, even just to stop by and see what the con looks like, because that was a really fun little con, and it's not a bad drive driving to London. So definitely go to Nickel City if you're looking for a nice local con. There's a lot of little vendors there that I've never seen before either, so you got to give them some love. Fan Expo, Niagara, and all them, you usually see the same people, the same vendors with the same stuff. These were some nice, cool, independent artists, so go check Nickel City out this year. It's in the spring and the summer. Go check it out. It's a really good little one. After that was the big one. We did Expo for the 15th year. 15 straight years of going to Fan Expo Canada. If you told me back in 2009 that I was going to be going there for 15 years straight, I wouldn't have believed you. I loved it when I first went, but if you went 15 years later, you're going to be going again. And you're still going to be having the time of your life every single year. I probably mentioned this on the show before, but I'll say it again now. When I first walked into Fan Expo 2009, I don't want to say I was a closet nerd, because I wasn't. I was perfectly fine telling everybody I was a nerd and a geek. But I had a couple friends that were into it as well, and we all went together. My buddy Tom and my buddy Gavin, but we didn't have a ton of people in our lives that were able to do that. The internet was not what it is now. It wasn't until about 2012, 2013 that we really were able to communicate online and do stuff like this. When I walked in 2009 and saw so many people with the same loves that I did and the same passion for the arts that I did, I honestly said one thing, and that was, I'm home. Because it was true. And I honestly, I think I started crying a little bit then, like tearing up a bit, because like this was a room full of like-minded people that I never met before, and I never run into, and I've never been with this many people before that all love the same thing. And now every time I go, every time I hit that main floor, I say the exact same thing, home, because it is. And because of that, going that first time, I now have so many friends because of meeting them at Fan Expo and volunteering and all of that. So it is still so fun going to Fan Expo. And Marcy, I completely understand when you say it's too big and claustrophobic. I get it. I get it. Believe me, there are times when I say the same thing. There are times, especially this Saturday, when I was in full Judge Dredd and I was standing on that first floor with all the cosplayers. I went up to the second floor to meet some of my friends that were volunteering, and man, I could not get through. And I'm not in a giant cosplay. I've got a couple big shoulders and a big head, but that's it. I'm still getting elbowed and stuff like that. I get it why people don't like the con. I understand why people find it too much. I still love it, even today, and this year was no different. It was great going through and seeing a bunch of new booths that they didn't have before. They had a bunch of new independent artists in the Artist Alley that were great. We had, what else? I went through and bought a whole bunch of stuff, which I really didn't need to buy. And then this Saturday, like I said earlier, I had, pretty nerdy Crystal helping me into Judge Dredd and walking around in that and getting some great photos and meeting some incredible cosplayers. And then going up on stage, which was seriously such a fun time being Judge Dredd. And the host that they have now is such a fun host. Pat, who puts on an amazing show every single year, and Pat does all of the Fan Expo cons, and he kills it every single year. He's doing a great job, and he's probably overworked, I can just imagine, but he still puts on a great show. Being stopped every 5 seconds. Yeah, it's fun being stopped every 5 seconds in their cosplay. And then winning the award was just so nice to hear that. Because this was my first 3D print cosplay, and the judge seeing how much I'm wanting to put into this and how much I'm wanting to grow and all that really made me feel good. So it was a great weekend, and I hope 2025 is just as good as 2024. I am definitely going to be applying to be a guest this year. I was in 2020 during the pandemic. I put out a Instagram story saying, I want to be a guest by 2025. So next year is the year when I want to be the guest. So fingers crossed I can pull it off. And if not, it's no big deal, but that is a goal of mine. I also applied for 2025 Toronto Comic Con. So if I get that, I'll be happy as well. So we'll see. As David said, that's what we do in cosplay. That's exactly why we do it cosplay. It's part of the gig. Like, I always use the analogy, I think I used it last week, of, it's like becoming the president, saying I don't want to wear a tie. You put on these cosplays, you got to get stopped. It happens. And that's part of it. Rob the bad guy. You can do it. I hope so. Hey, if the Geeks Co guys are behind me, I think I can do it. I think that was that extra kick in the pants that I need. But yeah, and hopefully you guys will be back this year. Hopefully. I understand, everything is what it is, but I hope to see you guys there in a full capacity. I know you guys were there, but I hope you guys were in a fuller capacity like you were like years past. Then we were supposed to do London. London was next on the list. However, Unfortunately, I was ill, and I feel really bad because I was supposed to come out and hang out with Collaborated Cosplay at his booth, but I was just not. Was not able to do it. Rob, hopefully, hopefully working on a new piece for it. Ooh. Geeks Co, Jeff and JS making you work. I see how it is. I see how it is. You do incredible work, so I get it. I was supposed to be in London, but unfortunately, yeah, that got canceled, which sucks because I really wanted to be at London. The year before was such a blast. Hopefully, I'll be getting there this year. I'm definitely going to make it a priority. I also got to meet Miss Eastman from TMNT, which bums me out. But we're definitely going to make it a priority. It is on the list for 2025. And we'll see. I mean, illnesses happen. And the thing is, I probably could have pushed myself. I really could have went, well, I'm going to struggle through. But literally, when I'm sitting in my car and I'm driving from my house, which is in the middle of the city, and I'm driving to the highway, and I get to the highway, and I realize I don't remember driving from my house to the highway. I was like, man, I can't go any further because I now got to drive on the highway for another hour. Like, that's just not something I can do safely because that's just going to be a problem. So definitely we'll be there this year unless something happens. But I'm putting it in the calendar. It's going to be there. After that, we did Hamilton Comic Con, my hometown con, where I started my volunteering, and I got to work with two of my childhood idols. I love these two. I am a big Home Improvement fan. It is one of the shows that I've probably seen every episode of. And at the con, I got to work with Al and Heidi, Richard Karn, and Debbie Dunning. And it was a blast. It was so fun working with them. Richard was such a nice guy. We were literally talking about home improvement stuff, which was so fun. I was telling him that I'm the DIY guy of the house and I'm building bookshelves and doing stuff like that. And he was talking about installing new windows. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm talking to friggin' Al Borland about home improvement. This is so cool. And Debbie Dunning was so sweet, such a nice person. She was so cool talking about making sure I was fed, which was so nice, making sure I was eating properly as a volunteer, which made me feel she was kind of like a motherly figure to me, which was so fun. Hopefully I get to run into both of them again, so I'd love to say again, thank you for an amazing weekend. Alex said, considering you left a main piece at home. Yeah, and that was the other thing, going back to London. I left half of Gambit at home. So when you leave half of the cosplay at home, I'm kind of glad I came home, or that would have been a little embarrassing. But yeah, Hamilton Comic Con was a blast. I'm going to be back again this year. They're going to be back at the Hamilton Place Convention Center downtown Hamilton again this year, and I can't wait. It's always a fun con. It's usually a little quieter, and I don't mind that. I really don't mind it being a little quiet. After that, we went to a new con. We went to a new convention, and that was HeartCon. HeartCon was so cool. This was a con made by cosplayers for cosplayers. It was all about cosplayers, photographers getting together, and man, did I have fun. We got to hang out. Alex was there with his cousin. We yacked for a while. I got to I met a new photographer. I got some incredible Ghost Rider shots. We're definitely going to be doing some more Ghost Rider and a whole lot more in the coming year, 2020-25. We're going to be doing, hopefully, HeartCon again. Fingers crossed I'll be invited back. And even if I don't, I'm probably going to get a ticket because the atmosphere was so cool. I got to hang out with Saphira Cosplay, if you know who she is. She is usually on TikTok building her Barbie Mandalorian armor and a whole bunch more. She is so fun. We got to chit-chat and talk about cosplay and do a little video for her TikTok channel, which was really cool. But it was just nice running in and having a time to sit down and talk with cosplayers and actually have a conversation and not be running from, event to event or photo shoot to photo shoot and actually just be able to relax and enjoy. So HeartCon was a lot of fun. Definitely going to be bringing Ghost Rider back, if not something better. We'll see. We'll see what the rest of the year goes. But yeah, really good, and I hope I'm back again this year. And last but not least, Niagara Games Con, the first con to invite me as a guest, and it means a ton to me. This was a lot of fun. I got to guest with Pretty Nerdy Crystal right next to me, and we had a blast. It was such a nice little town con. Like, it really was fun. I got to work next to Mr. Duke Nukem, the voice actor for Duke Nukem, and a whole bunch of other people. It was so fun. Like, it was a great little turnout. There was a lot of gaming vendors there. I picked up a couple games, which I was super happy to find for a really good price. And yeah, it is hopefully I'll be back again this year. There's some talks about maybe coming back for 2025. I hope so, because I got a whole bunch of new stuff. And folks, if you weren't on the pre-show, you might notice this thing, which I picked up from, that's how fingers work. Picked up this little rack thing from Canadian Tire for $8 because the back corners are broken, but it still works, and I'll be able to bring that to a convention near you this year, and I'll be showing off some of my props and stuff. So hopefully I'll be using that a couple times this year. So yeah, we did Toronto Comic Con, Anime North Fan Expo, Niagara Falls, a whole lot more. It has been a heck of a year, and I know I've posted it before, but screw it. I'm going to throw it up here on the show. I am officially announcing, let me throw it up here. Where is it? Talk amongst yourselves. We are officially announcing the 2025 Comic Con Tour. That's my little pun. So these are the cons I'll be at this year as of now. So we've got Toronto Comic Con, we've got Anime North, Niagara Falls, Forest City, Nickel City. I forgot to mention Nickel City. We're going to talk about that in a second. Nickel City Comic Con in the States, Fan Expo, London, Hamilton, Frightmare, Niagara, and of course, HeartCon, hopefully. And yeah, we'll see what else. We'll see what else comes up. Yeah, I totally forgot 2 cons. Let's talk about those quickly before we jump into the last little bit. Frightmare in the Falls was a great, lots of room for Montreal. Thanks, Alex. But there's only 10. Yeah, I forgot to add a couple. This is just what I have as a temporary. We've got more coming. I just need to confirm things. So we've got Frightmare in the Falls was an absolute blast. I only got to do a day, though, so hopefully I'm able to do more this year. Like I said, this is going to be a big con year. Frightmare in the Falls was great, and as well, Nickel City Comic Con was another great one. I'm also doing Nickel City probably both times this year, Alex. That is why. I haven't officially put it on the calendar, but I'm probably going to do both Nickel Cities this year. Will there be an autograph first of the poster avail? Honestly, if you guys want me to print a couple, I will print a couple and I will autograph them. If you come to a con, I will be there with them, and you can pick one up. Yeah, so that is the 2025 Comic Con Tour. Comic Con Tour. Yeah, Comic. I gotta say it like 15 times, otherwise I'm gonna start throwing up all over the place. So we've got Toronto Comic Con, Anime North, Niagara Falls, Forest City, Nickel City twice, Fan Expo, London, Hamilton, Frightmare, Niagara, HeartCon, and a whole bunch more. Whole bunch more coming up this year. So that's all the cons. So what do we do for cosplay? Well, we brought out Judge Dredd. We finished my first 3D cosplay, which I still can't believe I have a fully functioning, looks incredible Judge Dredd. If you guys don't know my history with Judge Dredd, that was one of the first cosplays that I did where I was like, I'm going to do this back in the day when it was all foam, and I was going to get so many reactions. So many people are going to want my photos. And nobody wanted my photo. And I was so disappointed. I was like, no, I can't cosplay. They don't love me. And then I realized, hey, loser, guess what? It's because you're in the classic cosplay and the movie just came out and it looks different. And everyone wanted those cosplay photos and not the one from a comic series that nobody was reading. So now that I've understood that, I'm not an idiot. I wanted to do Judge Dredd, and I was able, thanks to an incredible cosplayer that I met through a Facebook group, was able to send me all of the files to print everything, and it's such a fun cosplay to wear. And as I said earlier in the podcast, it's a pain in the ass to get in. It definitely needs assistance. So we don't know how many times I'm going to bring this back out. I might do a photo shoot or two with him. because I think he definitely deserves its own photo shoot. I'm going to be talking to a couple photographers about that. So hopefully in the next little while we'll have it. Maybe we'll do a winter shoot. Never thought about that. We should do a winter shoot for Judge Dredd. But yeah, he's the big one for the year. There's definitely been some smaller ones that I've been working on. I'm upgrading Luigi and a couple other things this year, but that was the big one. My nail was a sacrifice. Your nail was a sacrifice, Crystal. I greatly appreciate all the help that day. Getting into that bloody suit. But yeah, 2025. Let's talk about that before we get you guys out of here, because we're at the 50-minute mark. Cosplay-wise, we have Skull number 3. Skull number 3? Skull number 3. We've got Red Skull. I'm going to be making a Red Skull cosplay, and I'm probably going to be using most of my time working on that. I have a lot of work to do on him to get him ready for Anime North. When it comes to other cosplay, I have a board here, which you can't see, but I have some things that I'm going to be working on. It is going to be a lot of upgrades. Luigi is getting an upgrade. I got new coveralls, so they're not destroyed. So those will be done for 2025. I might do a couple upgrades to the vacuum, just to make things look a little cooler. I think I want to put some better lights in the tank to make things pop a little more. But Luigi's going to get an upgrade. I was going to do Gridman. If you guys don't know who Gridman is, he's an anime or a manga, or I guess he'd be a kaiju type show from sort of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. In Japan, that if you know the American version, it's Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad, which I was a fan of back in the day. I wanted to do that for Anime North this year, but I think that's going to be put on hold till next year. Dan from Street Fighter, he will be making an appearance in Anime North this year. He always makes an appearance. I'm going to be doing my darndest to make a little pink fireball for him to fire during when he's doing his little Hadouken. So that is something I'm going to be printing. As I said in the pre-show, if you see right there on the video, there are 2 sets of new lights that are going to be used to make the new Ghost Rider head. These lights have a couple different settings, and what those settings are is they have like flame light effects. So it's not just on, they like flow and move around. So I'm going to be making a Ghost Rider 2.0. That is the second big thing for the year, because now that I have figured out how to make a working jaw, I want a Ghost Rider that talks. So we're going to make a Ghost Rider that talks. So Fan Expo 2025, I will be bringing Ghost Rider back, but it will be a better version of Ghost Rider. I definitely want to bring him back because he gets a lot of attention. The neck is going to light up. The head is going to be flaming all over the place. It's going to be a blast. I'm going to have a lot of fun with that. And when it comes to guests, like I said, we're going to have a bunch of new guests on. We're going to have some old guests. We're going to have some new guests in 2025. This, to be completely honest, has been an incredible year. It really has. There have been some moments in the year where I've sat back and said, these days are taking forever. And they're taking forever in the best way. There are days where I'm enjoying the process of building cosplay, doing podcasts, making content for social, and a whole lot more. And I'm loving it so much that it is making my days become long. And I'm loving that feeling. It's usually when you love something, it goes by so quickly. I'm to the point now where I'm loving it so much that it's taking forever. And I love that feeling. I really do. There have definitely been some moments this year, which I've not talked about on the show, where I have been extremely frustrated in stuff that's happened in my life. And I don't want to bring up too much negative stuff here on the podcast. I don't want this to be the place where I sit here and vent. There have been some struggles. There have been some points where I've been frustrated. But overall, it has been an incredible, incredible year. And seriously, when it comes to why, it's the people like the Geeks Co. It's people like Freakish Workshop. It's people like Pretty Near to Crystal. It's people like you who have watched the podcast, who like me on social, who comment on videos, who, all those things. If I'm sitting here talking and none of you guys are engaging in the chat, none of you guys are watching, I'd still do it, but it just wouldn't be as fun. It really wouldn't be as fun. It would be me talking to an echo chamber. And so seriously, thank you so much for this year. It has been so fun going to these conventions, seeing you guys in person, hanging out, talking about cosplay, nerdy stuff, everything else. It's been a blast. And 2025, like I said, it is going to be my year. And you can call that ego, you can call it whatever it is, but I'm telling you, 2025 is going to be my year. Because I'm saying it's going to be my year. It has been a blast doing this show, and I'm not ending anytime soon because we're on episode 84. We got to hit 100. We got to hit 200. We got to hit 1,000 subscribers. I mean, we've only got another 700 and something to go till we hit 1,000 subscribers. But seriously, like, it means so much to me. Like, there was I don't want to end on a sappy note, but screw it, we're going to. Back in the day when social media and stuff really kicked in, I didn't jump into it head first. I went to school for marketing and I knew social media was a big deal, but I always said I didn't feel like what I had to say was worth it. And that really stunted my cosplay, my, any type of social media or anything like that. And I'm not saying, what I'm saying needs to be heard by the masses, it needs to be approved by the masses and all that, but like, it is so nice to come on here once a week and talk to you guys about nerdy stuff. And if you guys can't make it and you watch it later, that's perfectly understandable. Like, I get everyone's got 10,000 things on their lives and they can't all sit here and watch me blab on for hours. But, I've always had friends in my life that I had wrestling friends, and then I had music friends, and I had comic friends, and I had Comic-Con friends and all that. And I always felt like, I don't get to see them all the time. And if stuff happens, I can't really, like, it felt weird calling them or texting them and being like, did you hear about this really cool thing? I always want to have like a conversation. I want to talk about it. And now I get to do that because of this. And I get that there are some topics that we're going to talk about in the next few months, the next year, that you're probably going to be like, it's not for me. And I completely understand it. But I still love talking about it. Like the next couple things we're going to talk about some controversial cosplays. We're going to talk about the evolution of Comic-Con. We're going to talk about Kiss, the band in comics. We're going to talk about ECW. If you're a wrestling fan, we're going to talk about ECW. Was it as really good as we said it was? I don't know. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff. And knowing that I can come on here every Monday night and just talk, and if you guys are here, great. If you're not, I completely understand it. But knowing that a couple of you sit here on a Monday night when you could be doing anything else more productive and listen to me rant and talk, it means so much to me. Like, seriously, it means so much. So thank you all for a great year. We're not done yet, because as I said earlier, Wednesday, Freakish Workshop and I are going to be here. We're going to talk about Marvel Rivals. If you can hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, all those things, that would mean a ton. I guess that's it, guys. 2024, we are almost in the books. We are 9 days away from the holiday season. So you're a Paul Heyman guy. I am kind of a Paul Heyman guy. We'll get into that during the episode. That is something we're going to talk about being a Paul Heyman guy. Thank you guys. Seriously, I've said it 15 times. I'll say it 15 more. Seriously, thank you guys for all the love you've shown me on social media, all the love you've shown me on this podcast. It has been a great, great year. I'm not stopping anytime soon, and I hope you guys stick around and follow me along on this journey. I hope you, if you're not here on Wednesday, I completely get it. It's an off day, so you guys might have something more important to do. I totally get it. So if I don't see you, have yourselves a very happy holidays. Have a great Merry Christmas. Have a great New Year's or whatever else you're going to celebrate. We will be back here on the 6th. We're going to be back here January 6th. We're going to talk about cosplay. Folks, it has been a great 2025. I hope to see you in 2026. I love you all, and I will see you very, very soon. Happy holidays. Take care. See you soon.
Hey, thanks for watching Monday Night Nerd. If you enjoyed this content, please hit the subscribe button, like this content, and follow on social media for even more nerdy fun. See you soon.